Good morning. Welcome to On the Porch. I'm State Representative Jane Garibay for the 60th District. I'm here today with Paula Pierce from Houston, Connecticut. Not only a very successful small business, but good friend. Welcome, Paula.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here on the porch again.
It's nice to have you. It just seemed appropriate in these times because I know you've been doing a lot of work with businesses on how to promote themselves, but also about loans that are available. You just need to know where to go, especially, for women, right?
There's a ton of opportunities right now, especially for women and minority-owned businesses. So yeah, I stay in good contact with groups like the Women Business Development Council and the Small Business Development Council. Some municipalities have been offering grants as well. So there's a ton of things out there, and you just have to, do a quick search to find some really great opportunities.
To do. Can you give us an idea of one that you solicited and received?
Yeah, I did a grant through, there was an application for the Women's Business Development Council, and that's ct-wbdc.com, I think it is. Is it .org? I don't know. But anyway, the Women's Business Development Council has an equity match grant that they've done a few rounds of, and there's one open now. So I did it last spring, I believe it was, and mainly just have to figure out what can push your business forward. And it can't be for staffing or something like that. It has to be for something that can really make a difference, like a piece of equipment. If you're a bakery and you need a specific type of oven or something like that. So as long as you have a specific program in mind that will help you and is sustainable, and you can put in some money to make that happen too, then you can apply for this grant. This is a 25% matching grant. So if you can put in 25% of the amount you're asking for, then you're good.
Wow.
And it provide your financials and all that stuff.
Right. And there's so many things that small businesses, on the everyday cannot afford, right? Like a marketing plan, right? To institute QuickBooks or a lot of different programs that you might like to do, but have difficulty doing. How hard were they to fill out?
It is a little challenging, I will admit. For me, it was interesting because they asked for certain financials that, now I keep good books, pretty good books, I think, but they asked for financials with projections out 3 years. And while I've got my profit and loss, I've got my balance sheet, I've got what I'm supposed to have generally, this was something new for me. So I had to sit down and really think about what I'm doing, where I'm going, where income comes from, what expenses might be coming. So it really kind of made me plan a little more into the future, which is something I hadn't been great at. So it was motivation for me, just the grant process itself, to get my books in order, really,
To start looking towards the future, right? How do you grow, right?
Mm-hmm. So in my case, I did, my request was for funds to purchase certain software packages that would help me transition to a more efficient sales process, for example. I have a couple of pieces of software that came from that grant. One is Calendly. It's a appointment setting situation where you can give someone a link and they see your calendar and where you're free and where you're not. So instead of going back and forth, oh, do you want to, Zoom at 2:00 on Tuesday? Oh, I can't. Let's try Wednesday at 3, whatever. You don't have to do all that because you just send them the link. They see when you're free. They know when they're free, and they just sign up for a time slot.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's time saving, actually.
It really is. And it connects to your personal calendar too, without making anything visible to anybody. So if you have a blocked out, 1:00 on Friday for a doctor's appointment, even, they can't book at that time. So it's just a nice calendar setup. So that's a streamlining software that I got through.
Right, to do other things for your business, right? It frees up your time.
Exactly. We all know what it's like to do that back and forth, and it's just such a huge time waster.
It is a time waster. So did you do anything with marketing?
My grant was not for marketing in particular, but a lot of small businesses do need funds for that. So they get a little overwhelmed, I think, even myself sometimes with all the different options. You kind of get this paralysis from saying, oh my God, I have 1,000 options. What do I do? So, and cost is one of the factors in that, but the other factors are, there's just so much to choose from between social media marketing, email marketing, Google search marketing. I mean, there's just a lot out there. So, my suggestion is, number one, look at what you already have in place and make sure you're using it effectively. So if you already have, say, a Google My Business listing for your business, you've claimed it, make sure it's up to date, make sure your hours are in there, make sure your holiday hours are in there, put good photos in there, make sure you're using what you have before you start adding all other different methods to your marketing.
Right, right. And there really is value about being out there every day. We all see the businesses that, they're in the little local newspaper, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. And it does remind you when you need a plumber, the person that's been out there with those mediums, right?
Right. And what's really interesting these days, people really want to see what's really going on at businesses. So as a plumber, like you said, you might think, oh, nobody wants to, hear a post about how to fix a leaky faucet, but maybe they do, and if the next day you actually post a, 30-second video of you working on a faucet and saying something about what's happening, that's interesting to people. People want authenticity. They want to see what's really going on behind the scenes at these businesses. We all see the front
Right.
of things. We don't know the people and the personalities and what goes on behind the scenes. So that's
Right.
always fun to do with video on social.
Right. And I do apologize to those watching that it looks like I'm looking down. But I'm at my other job, so I had to, figure this out. And that brings me to one of the things that you did on Facebook. People may know that you're my partner here at First Town Downtown, and that we're working together, and that you just did the whole auction on Facebook.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
It really was fun. People had fun.
They did.
Yeah. And it was just great to see. And I think it was successful, very successful, in part because it was on Facebook, right?
Right. I mean, we already, as First Town Downtown, we already have an audience on Facebook. So we wanted to reach those people. We know they're there and they're watching. So we thought if we did it there, it would be easier than, trying to find some new software or something like that. So we just posted every 2 hours for about a week, all the different items that were graciously donated. And yeah, I think people had fun bidding.
Yeah, I think they did too. I think people were very excited. So, it just shows the power of the media in whichever, you kind of hit from all sides so that it's out there. What other suggestions do you have for small businesses and, nonprofit organization? How can they do a better job?
I think going back to what I said earlier, making use of what they have is the first tip I would offer, because, we have these assets that we don't even think about, right? A customer list is an asset. Their email addresses are an asset. These are people that like your product or your nonprofit cause, and they already trust you and are interested in you. So contact them, recontact them. Email is a huge, huge asset. You've got to actually use it to get to those people who are already interested in you. Right. So remind them.
I receive daily texts now from Chili's and Mofongos here in the center of town, and they always have a great special, and it does get me out there, it just reminds you.
That's exactly what it is.
And if it bothers you, just don't look at it, that day, because you're not eating out or whatever, but it does remind you.
It keeps top of mind. Yeah, you just get reminded over and over. Hopefully it isn't annoying, but if it's something really. Like, it shouldn't be annoying.
It's easy just to erase, that's easier. It doesn't bother me anyways. So, and there was the town grant. I know a ton of our small businesses did apply for that. And that's really exciting that they use rescue money because of COVID to do that. It was 640,000, I think, something like that.
Yeah, that was
a lot of money going into.
Excellent program. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of businesses are going to make great use of that, or whether they have expenses to be paid that are already incurred, or maybe they can use it to forward their business through marketing, or, whatever they need. That's a fantastic opportunity.
Right. And didn't they ask like what you wanted to move forward with? Like, how would this help you moving forward, right?
Yeah, so similar to the other grant that I talked about, in the Windsor town grant, they asked, well, what do you want the funds for? Of course, what are you going to do with it? And so you could explain what your situation was, what were your challenges, how were you affected by COVID in a negative way? Did you have to buy safety equipment? Did you lose business? What were those things, and what were the numbers related to those? How much business? What dollars are we talking about? And once you put all that in, then you had to have a thought of, what will the grant money do for you? So in my case, I asked for the money to use an HR consultant so that I can move more from contractors to employees, because there are challenges. Well, I love my contractors and they're excellent. There are situations where you need actual employees to be available during working hours. So in my case, that's kind of the transition I was looking for.
Right. Yeah. So another thing that you do is that you're very involved in your community. And I know you like helping people and you're there, but how does that help your business?
Well, I think it kind of goes back to when I first started the business and started personal networking. Because when I did that, the first 3 years in business, I just went to every networking event I could find. I just met people. I didn't hard sell anybody. I just learned what their businesses were about. I talked to people and, obviously talked about mine as well. But just meeting all those people, and that includes nonprofits, that includes schools, that includes anybody who was, around going to these events. And it just builds trust between people. And so by being out there and being a trustworthy person and being interested in others and how to help people, making matches between a small business and another local business, or someone, a larger business, whatever, nonprofit, people see that you're not running your business just for the bottom line, that you're actually interested in your community and wanted to be involved and grow, help everybody grow, really. So, and I think that once you do that, other people see that and want to do the same.
Well, it's knowing your customer, right? It's knowing something about them, knowing something about people, them knowing about you. It does. I remember in those early years when you first joined the chamber, which was how many years ago?
19.
19, and we worked together and you got involved. I swear that at every networking, you got a customer almost.
Probably. I mean, over time, maybe it wasn't that day, but yeah.
Right. And now you're
Thing.
involved in First Town Downtown, which is Windsor Center.
Right.
I know. It's
There's
really exciting.
so much going on.
Pardon?
I said there's so much going on.
I know there is. We're doing so much. It's been a busy January and February, hasn't it?
Oh my gosh, yes. But it's fun. It's fun to be out there and to do things and see the progress that the town and the businesses and the nonprofits are making after this
and working together, working with good people that also just want to volunteer, because the board is all volunteer.
Right.
So that's a great job. So what we're saying, people, is get involved in your community, choose something that, you like, whatever it is. It could be even Little League or something, get involved. But for your business, it really is important to get involved. And it's good healthy wise too.
That's true. I mean, relationships are important, business relationships just make things stronger, make the community stronger as a whole. And Windsor is a great town. We've got so many nonprofit groups, civic groups, business organizations, all kinds of sports groups and things. And it's just great to see people working together.
It is. It is. Well, thank you for coming on the porch today. Any last comments?
No, just be positive. Let's help each other. We all want to survive and thrive together. So help each other out.
And Windsor is a good community for that, I do have to say. And so is Windsor Locks. Now that I work, through the house over there too, they have such a community also of people helping people, right? And businesses too. So,
Yeah, there's a
again,
lot more business over there than people realize sometimes.
right.
Mhm.
There is in both towns. We're very fortunate that way. So anyway, thank you for coming on the porch. It's been a pleasure as always, and I'll see you later on.
All right, great. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you everyone for watching, and sorry for the setup. I'm actually on the floor in front of a cellar door. So, but it was great being,
Authenticity.
it's been great being with you all today, and see you at the next on the porch.